Now at 9, authorities in Joplin investigate the cause of an overnight fire at a tire center.
The Department of Justice says former President Trump and his aides may have obstructed their investigation into classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on what the government alleges.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Police in Marionville, Missouri today released the name of a person who died after a single car crash yesterday. Crash happened near the Odell and College intersection where they found 45-year-old Carrie Medivier. When they arrived at the scene, they say she was suffering from a medical emergency and had not sustained injuries from the crash. She was taken to an area hospital where she later died. Authorities recovered the body of a Southeast Kansas man yesterday at Stockton Lake in Cedar County, Missouri. Say they found 60-year-old John Gray of Fort Scott in the Orleans Trail Cave. The cause of the drowning is unknown. Officials say this is the 16th drowning this year. Joplin Tire Store is heavily damaged after an overnight fire right there. Authorities are investigating the cause of the fire at Ozarko Tire Center, located behind the Pilot Travel Plaza. MoDOT temporarily shut down a portion of Highway 43 near I-44 overnight as crews battled with this fire. Employees say there were more than 1,000 new tires in the warehouse. Meteorologist Doug Katie joining us now. More of the same old, huh? Hot.
Yeah, pretty much, but at least we got rid of the extreme heat. We haven't had the extreme heat for a couple weeks now. It's been just kind of normal summer across the region. 90, 61, the numbers today. 87 is our average high. 105 is the record set back in 2000. And pretty much clear skies. We have a few mid and upper level clouds, which are increasing on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. But here's our next little wave. It's a weak upper level wave that will start to affect us late in the daytime hours tomorrow. Until then, we look good. We're sitting mainly lower 70s. Right now, we'll drop back to 66, high temp at 91, but you can see there's rain chances. We'll discuss it here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. During the COVID pandemic, the Joplin DAV lost some of its volunteers. Now they're seeking help from the community for veterans in need. KOAM's Sigumba Mandeli has more on the story.
I am currently at the DAV of Joplin Chapter 52, where officials tell me that they are in need of volunteers to help drive veterans, disabled veterans, to their medical appointments.
We have 12 now, and it takes almost 20 to do the job here. We have 6 vans, and we run 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. And since we're all volunteers, all 12 aren't available every week, so we need some extras.
Well, it's always a need for more volunteers. People are busy, and they have things, and COVID really did take a hit on our volunteer drivers, and we're looking to get more because the need is there. We have lots of veterans in the community that are needing to get to their medical appointments, and our volunteers are the ones that get them there.
Crabtree says veterans deserve our support.
Our veterans have served our country, and now it's time for us to give back to them. We serve veterans that can't get to those necessary appointments by themselves, and so it's the right thing to do to provide support for them when they supported us many years ago.
I asked Crabtree for one last word, and he said this.
And it's just a constant need. Veterans are always needing transportation to those medical appointments, and the veteran size is growing. We get about 100,000 new veterans a year in the country, and so all those folks are going to eventually need our help.
In Joplin, Sigumba Mandeli, KOAM News.
Volunteer drivers do not have to be veterans themselves. They just need a driver's license. Officials say people can apply to be a volunteer on the Joplin DAV's website or by calling their number directly. Kansas Congressman Jake LaTurner visited Galena to participate in a ribbon cutting at Celtron. Celtron is a company that builds cables and cable harnesses primarily for the military. Celtron recently invested over $1 million in a 4,000-foot expansion for the facility.
Be badged in order to pass out of the area that we're standing in right now and move into our office areas or our manufacturing areas. You have to be badged through with a key. So that type of physical security is elemental in the, believe it or not, it's included in the cybersecurity requirements.
This investment is going to bring increased engineering, new offices, and additional equipment to bolster tech and security. Axe throwers in Pittsburgh trying to hit the bullseye right there to appear on ESPN. Big time. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
The World Axe Throwing League, held by Main Street Axe Company, is gaining more popularity every year in the 4 states area.
Axe throwing has been growing in the 4 states area. It's been growing all around the country and the world. There are now people throwing axes on ESPN competitively.
Main Street Axe Company is sanctioned by the official World Axe Throwing League to hold legitimate competitions that can let throwers compete on the big stage in Minneapolis.
We do have lots of players who take their hobby here seriously. And what it means to be an affiliate is that players here who qualify through our small tournaments and our leagues get to move on to bigger tournaments, regional tournaments, and then hopefully national and world tournaments.
Even though everyone wants to be named the top axe thrower, the entire community still wants to see one of their own make it onto ESPN.
It will happen. I will be on ESPN at some point in time.
Axe throwing is not just about competing in leagues. Max enjoys sharing his hobby with his daughter.
My daughter, who's 11 years old, soaking wet, 80 pounds, can throw an axe at the target and hit a bullseye. Like, she might not hit a bullseye every time by any means, but like, she can hit it and she can stick it.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The last meet of the Axe Throwing Fall League is in October. A Federal Reserve official says he expects interest rates to stay high for a while to combat inflation. New York Fed President John Williams says the central bank needs to get its benchmark interest rate, quote, somewhat above 3.5% and keep it that way through the end of next year. The Fed hiked the rate by 0.75 of a percentage point last month. In a bombshell filing, the Department of Justice lays out the government's efforts to retrieve classified documents it says former President Trump improperly stored in Mar-a-Lago. The DOJ says the Trump team may have tried to obstruct their investigation. Fox's Madeline Rivera reports from D.C.
A new photo from the Justice Department shows part of what FBI agents seized from Mar-a-Lago on August 8th. Classified documents, several of them marked top secret and sensitive compartmented information. In some cases, the DOJ says even the FBI counterintelligence personnel and DOJ attorneys conducting the review required additional clearances before they were permitted to review certain documents.
The Justice Department has filed a blow Trump out of the water filing here.
More than 100 classified records were found not only in the storage room. 3 of them were also found in the desks of the former president's office, says the DOJ. In an extraordinary statement, the DOJ says it has evidence that government records were likely concealed and removed from the storage room, and that efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation. Some legal experts are questioning whether obstruction in fact took place.
A dispute about the ownership of documents, especially from a former president who had carte blanche authority over them, is not an obstruction.
The filing stems from the department's effort to oppose former President Trump's request for a third party to review the materials that were taken. But the DOJ says it's already finished its review and flagged items subject to attorney-client privilege.
There's no indication now that the Justice Department and the Trump people want to reach any kind of agreement.
A hearing is set for Thursday to consider former President Trump's request for an independent arbiter called a special master. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another 4-state hero. Clifford Birdsong, a certain U.S. Army from 1951 to 53. We are proud to thank and salute Sergeant Clifford Birdsong, native of Girard, Kansas. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. A bit later, Missouri Southern football preparing to host a nationally ranked opponent to open up their season. Going to hear from the Lions in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Wednesday for us today. Temperatures right around 90 for afternoon highs. Mostly sunny skies, still pretty much clear skies right now. A nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, if we zoom in, you can see most of us right around 90, a little bit hotter during the afternoon across our western counties on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Of course, we dropped off, not bad, 70 in Stockton, 72 in Grand. Neodesha is sitting at 74. 7th and range line currently sitting at 71. Easterly winds are light. Humidity is kind of high at 73%, but we have pretty much clear skies. You can see some mid and upper level clouds increasing, which will be the trend as we go through the overnight hours tonight. We got 2 little weak waves, one out to our northwest, another one to our south. This weak upper level wave has been kind of shoving itself back toward the west. But overall, it's going to get caught up in this northern wave and just kind of head toward us as we go through about the next 24 to 36 hours, at least giving us some rain chances. Not a lot, but at least a little bit. All right, those thin mid and upper level clouds increasing for the rest of the night. We'll stop at 6 a.m., mid 60s, so actually feeling pretty good. As we go through the morning, noon hour, mid 80s, mostly cloudy, but we are going to get a decent amount of sunshine. These are going to be real thin clouds. As we get into the evening hours, look at a few showers trying to pop up, especially in our southern counties, maybe even a random little thunder shower. As we go through the evening hours, here's 9 p.m., scattered thunderstorms, again, very hit and miss, southern half of the region. Here's about midnight. After midnight, they kind of rotate a little bit more on the Missouri side, but still we're going to have these hit and miss showers sticking into Friday morning. So let's go through the morning hours on Friday. More persistent rain at this time back to our east. I think most of us partly sunny, but by Friday afternoon, and of course this is high school football time, additional hit and miss pop-up storms will get going. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. As we go into Friday night and Saturday morning, of course heading into the holiday weekend, another complex will try to work through late night into Saturday morning. So that's something we want to keep our eyes on as well. All right, here's your day planner. 66 in the morning, 87 by noon, 88 at 5, clouds thickening up with a few isolated little thunderstorms. And if we look at our rain chances, pretty low, but they start to go up a little bit by tomorrow night and into Friday afternoon. It's isolated thunderstorms, but we do expect them to be out there, especially in our southern counties. 91 tomorrow, 89 on Friday, 91 Saturday. Sunday, Monday, still some random little showers, but I think the bulk of the holiday weekend is going to be dry.
It's going to be good. Good. It's so nice to, at nighttime, just go outside and.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. It's not that muggy or sticky.
No. Hey, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, sir. Coming up, an issue now officially seen by the White House.
School districts coast to coast say they can't find enough teachers. I'm Mark Meredith at the White House. We'll take a closer look at what the federal government is doing with the staffing shortage.
With schools across the U.S. facing a teacher shortage this year, the Biden administration is taking action. At the White House today, First Lady Jill Biden met with cabinet officials, education leaders as well, about figuring out ways to fix this problem. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith reports from the White House.
You still just feel that excitement, that anxiety of the new semester.
It's back to school time for millions of Americans, but this year, some students may notice their classroom is more crowded, with a nationwide teacher shortage gripping communities coast to coast.
It's hurting communities with students from low-income backgrounds and students of color the most.
On Wednesday, First Lady Jill Biden, an educator herself, and top administration officials met with education and business leaders to strategize on how best to address the shortage.
There are so many other future educators out there who want to teach, but decide against it or decide to leave because so many obstacles stand in their way.
Education experts say teachers are leaving their profession for a variety of reasons, whether it be low pay, COVID concerns, or better opportunities elsewhere.
It's either my sanity and my dignity as a professional, or continue in a place with an employer that doesn't respect me.
The White House is partnering with several job search firms to help school districts recruit and hire more teachers. And officials say states should consider raising teachers' salaries by tapping money from last year's American Rescue Plan.
When you think of $40,000 a year for a teacher, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's baffling.
Officials say one more way to bring more teachers into the classrooms would be through expanding apprenticeship programs, which they believe would entice more people to eventually become educators. At the White House, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Still ahead, remembering Princess Di.
It's been 25 years since Princess Diana died. I'm Alexis McAdams in New York. I'll have more on the legacy she left behind.
Pretty popular cookies, so listen up, okay? Cookies are being recalled for possible metal contamination. D.F. Stauffer Biscuit Company, Inc. is voluntarily recalling its 44-ounce Market Pantry white fudge animal cookies after wire metal pieces were discovered inside. Cookies were sold at Target stores nationwide. The products have a Best Buy date of February 21st of 2023. Anyone who purchased the cookies is, of course, being encouraged to stop eating them if you have eaten them. Return it for a full refund. You can find more information on the FDA's website. Millions around the world remembering the life of Princess Diana today, 25 years after she was killed in a car accident. Fox News correspondent Alexis McAdams has details on her legacy and how her life of service is still being honored.
An off-duty doctor who responded to the crash that claimed the life of Princess Diana, remembering that tragic night 25 years later.
I didn't realize that the young lady was the Princess Diana, and I didn't expect that she died so quickly.
Diana and her companion Dodi Fayed left their Paris hotel on August 31st of 1997, pursued at high speed by the paparazzi. It would be their final ride. The car's driver lost control and crashed inside of a tunnel not far from the Eiffel Tower. The news of her passing stunned the world.
For her to die in such tragic circumstances at such a young age, I think really came as a massive shock.
Marrying into the British royal family in 1981 when she was 20, she was instantly thrust into the global spotlight. Diana built a legacy, changing the way people viewed the monarchy and working with more than 100 charities, including HIV/AIDS patients at a time when many wouldn't, and focusing on landmine removal.
Because she transformed the institution during her lifetime, but in terms of her legacy, she's continued to transform the institution through the figures of her two sons.
At the time of her death, the 36-year-old mom left behind Prince William and Prince Harry, who are carrying on the legacy that earned her the title of the People's Princess.
I hope we can remember my mother's legacy by recommitting to those that we serve.
The brothers who had a falling out will both continue honoring their mom's work, but will separately grieve after 25 years without her. In New York, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
All right, next, going to check out the latest rare diamond up for auction, expected to fetch several $1 million. I like Alfredo and all, but this is just too much. Just too much. Drivers in Memphis were caught up in a saucy situation after Alfredo spilled all across the interstate. Tractor trailer crashed into a wall on Interstate 55 in Memphis yesterday, spilling gallons of that Alfredo sauce onto the hot pavement. Cars reportedly drove on the interstate's shoulder, as we're looking right there, in an attempt to not get lost in the sauce, while crews worked to clean up the scene. All right. A rare pink diamond is expected to fetch over $21 million at auction. The Williamson Pink Star diamond was unveiled at Sotheby's in London. The captivating ring is the second largest internally flawless, fancy, vivid pink diamond. Man, I don't think they're describing that thing enough. It's all of that to ever appear at auction. Okay, it's good stuff. Now, that was the second, the largest internally flawless, don't listen to this guy, listen to me talking, okay? The largest internally flawless, fancy, vivid pink diamond offered at auction was the CTF Pink Star, which sold at 2017 at Sotheby's Hong Kong for a record-breaking $71.2 million. Doug Hetty, of course, is the proud owner of that bad boy. Of what? I'm teasing, man. All right, 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming your way.
How Paint the Town Red event brings the community together in Pittsburgh. I'm Yana Haudala with the story.
UN inspectors are working to avoid a nuclear catastrophe on the front lines of the fighting here in Ukraine. In Kyiv, Ukraine, I'm Alex Hogan. I'll have more on this story coming up.
Little Balkans Fest.
Pittsburgh businesses participating in the Paint the Town Red event had their storefront decorations judged today. KOAM's Yana Haudala spoke to officials about the impact of this event.
Businesses around the Pittsburgh area participated in Paint the Town Red event today. We talked with the Chamber of Commerce and Pittsburgh State University to hear how this event brings the community together.
They paint it red, and so it's all in support of the university. So it's a really great opportunity to get individuals pumped up and ready for that first football game. It's kind of the kickoff of fall.
Walking downtown, you could see a lot of decorations on the storefronts today. This year, a total of 27 businesses participated in the contest that is part of a week-long celebration, which was not as big of a happening during the early years.
They would do kind of a balloon launch and autographs with the football players, but it grew into something so much more that takes a week long.
Businesses want to show their support for PSU and participate in decoration contests. Burlow says, painting a town red is a great way to welcome PSU alumni for the first football game of the season.
Tomorrow there will be thousands of alumni rolling into town from Kansas City, Wichita, really all over the Midwest. So it's great for them to be able to see all these decorations and all the festivities.
He says this is also a great way to show the new freshmen how the community and university work together.
Particularly the newer students who have not been on campus before, because they're able to see how much our community, our Chamber of Commerce, our city, how much they support Pittsburg State University.
John Bartlett said it earlier. He said it that Paint the Town Red is a Pittsburgh holiday, and I couldn't think anything better to say about it.
In Pittsburgh, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Season opener game against Central Missouri kicks off at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Now, also as part of Paint the Town Red Week, Pitt State's evening hosted a pep rally ahead of that football home opener tomorrow. KOAM photojournalist Carrie Wortham was at the rally.
This is an exciting day for everybody in Pittsburgh. It's the first time that a lot of people have come out since the pandemic, and so it's a great time for families to be here. The weather is gorgeous.
It just, everything about today just feels so surreal. Knowing that our first game tomorrow is also so surreal. This has been my dream since before I can remember. And so being here with people that have become my best friends, I love my team so much. You get to hear the crowd, you get to see everybody. It's nice seeing everybody come out to see you. So having all the football players, all the college athletes that are going to be participating this fall and throughout the entire year. Our coach definitely gave us the down low on what today was going to be like, and he said, you know, expect a lot of people. Obviously, Pitt State, it's such a small town, but it's such a big community. The way the dates worked out this year have definitely shortened our preparation time a little bit. So it was definitely crunch time as soon as we got to school, as soon as we started practices. It was definitely like we hit the ground running to get ready for today and tomorrow. I think they know that this community backs them 100%, and that Paint the Town Red is a national holiday here at in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Being here surrounded by people who don't necessarily know us personally, but who absolutely would do anything to support us is such an amazing feeling.
Go Gorillas!
The public is welcome to join the Gorilla Fest celebration tomorrow ahead of the game. It's going to begin at 4 behind the stadium. There's also a lot of other events that go on in Pittsburgh, of course, right? Pittsburgh Parks and Rec Department is looking forward to their upcoming fall activities. Yeah, think cooler temperatures. Events in September range from a dinosaur-themed date night to an adult softball slow pitch tournament.
I think coming off the COVID thing and just kind of everybody being out of the loop for a couple years is going to make it special. Obviously, a lot of us are looking forward to the cooler weather. And they're good opportunities to do a little something special maybe for your son or daughter.
You can find all information on all kinds of area events on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. The Department of Defense has listed climate change a national security threat and is now taking steps to reduce its carbon footprint. The U.S. Army was first to unveil a sweeping climate strategy earlier this year, including a plan to build a microgrid on every base by 2035. Army is also targeting 2030 for a 50% reduction in net greenhouse gas pollution and net zero emissions by 2050. The International Atomic Energy Agency crossing the front lines in Ukraine, part of a dangerous mission to assess the damage at a nuclear plant being occupied by Russia. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more from Ukraine.
It's a mission that seeks to prevent a nuclear accident.
The International Atomic Energy Agency sending inspectors into a war zone for the first time, hoping to get a handle on the situation at the biggest nuclear power plant in Europe. The inspection team arriving in Zaporizhia on Wednesday, but with the fighting still ramping up in the area, it's not clear how much access they'll have or how long it will take to examine the plant, leading to suggestions that they could be there until the end of the war.
The mission will take a few days, and if we are able to establish a permanent presence, or a continued presence, better said, then it's going to be prolonged.
The visit comes just 2 days after Ukraine launched a counteroffensive in the south, which they say is already showing signs of progress. And Russia is reportedly running short of supplies, including weapons-capable drones that it purchased from Iran that appear to be malfunctioning.
We know of some difficulties that the Russians have been having with some of these drones and some of the limits on some of the capabilities.
Meanwhile, with American weapons still pouring into Ukraine, a bipartisan group of senators visited the country to get a first-hand look at life near the front lines. Traveling to an airport that was the scene of heavy fighting in several towns where alleged Russian war crimes took place.
It's important to support Ukraine, but it's also about this broader cause of protecting freedom.
The White House says it will announce another military aid package for Ukraine in the coming days. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Bit later, doing things quietly.
The quiet quitting trend is becoming quiet firing. I'm Madison Allworth with Fox Business. Coming up, the real reason your boss might be ignoring your request for a raise.
Definitely turned out to be a pretty good Wednesday for us today. We had quite a bit of sunshine, temperatures great, right around 90. I know that's hot, but at least we didn't have much in the way of humidity throughout the day. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Look at our highs, upper 80s on the Missouri side and then low to mid 90s once you got out into our western counties. And of course, it has cooled down just a bit. 73 in Nevada, 72 in Miami. Pitt is sitting at about 73 degrees, but it looks good. 7th and Rangeline, we are dry. 71, easterly winds are light. Humidity is at 73%. We do have some mid and upper level clouds, which have been increasing over the past couple hours. So we are going to get a lot of thin clouds in here, especially after midnight and then through the daytime hours tomorrow. Watching two waves, both weak, but this one will kind of pull this one up toward the north. So if we look at this, you can see the moisture down through parts of Texas. Very weak upper level wave, but as it heads toward us, it's not going to have much moisture. It's going to give us some clouds and a few random showers, especially in our southern counties as we go down the road. So let's go through time. We're going to stop at 6 o'clock in the morning, sitting into the mid 60s. So it feels great. We're going to have a lot of clouds. These are going to be fairly thin clouds, so you're still going to see the sun shine through during the daytime hours. As we go through the morning, about the noon hour, we'll be sitting into the mid 80s. But once we get into the evening, watch these isolated showers trying to creep up from the south. So this is mainly going to affect our southern counties. Most of us are going to be dry as we go through the day. Tomorrow evening, hit and miss scattered showers, maybe a random thunderstorm. Pitt State is at home tomorrow evening, so hopefully these stay just to the south, but then hit and miss showers throughout the evening. So here's 11:30. Let's go after midnight, kind of shifting on the Missouri side, so mainly along and south of I-44, and then kind of pulling off toward the east by the time we get into Friday morning. Friday, I think partly sunny skies, but once again, by Friday afternoon, we'll have some additional pop-up little scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region. Another batch even drops in Friday night into Saturday morning. So we do have some rounds of rain that we got to keep our eyes on as we go through the next few days. Starting at 66, 88 by 5. Watch out for a few isolated thunderstorms in our southern counties. High temp of 91. In fact, look at our rain chances. Top section, it's going to rain. Middle section, scattered showers and thunderstorms. We're kind of in that isolated thunderstorms as we go into tomorrow evening, and then kind of hit and miss as we go through the daytime hours on Friday. So not a lot of rain, but we are going to have some showers out there. 91 tomorrow, 89 on Friday, 91 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. Rain chances stick around for the holiday weekend, but in general, looks pretty good.
Yeah, considering, no more hundreds.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you as always. Yep. All right, coming up in sports, Missouri Southern football aiming to knock off a nationally ranked opponent in their season opener. Plus, Carl Junction preparing for a rivalry matchup with Webb City. Getting here from the Bulldogs in sports.
This week is game week for Missouri Southern football. The Lions get to open the season at home tomorrow night, welcoming in the Nebraska Kearney Lopers. And this one, a tough one right off the bat for Southern. The Lopers finished second in the MIAA last season and are ranked 14th in the nation coming into the year. This Missouri Southern team, though, took a step in the right direction last season, winning 3 games, highest win total since 2014. The Lions are confident they'll take another step forward this season, starting tomorrow night against Kearney.
We've said since last year, we think we're a good team. We think we can play with any team in this conference, top to bottom, so we're about to see week 1.
This is a different Missouri Southern team for sure. This is the sharpest I think our team has ever looked going to game 1. So over my time here, this is the sharpest.
Part of it is, as we went through last year, we hadn't played a game versus another opponent. I didn't quite know what we had, and so now as I come back and I'm able to, put it in perspective as I've been back in the league for a year, now I do know what we have. And yeah, I am pretty confident. I like our guys. And again, they've paid the price. They've paid the sacrifice to be successful, and so I'm excited to see them put it on paper, put it on the field.
We have a rare Thursday night COC rivalry game tomorrow night in Carl Junction. The Bulldogs welcome in the Webb City Cardinals for their home opener. The Carl Junction is coming off a big win, 42-21 over Ozark in week 1. On the other side, Webb City aims to bounce back from a 42-19 loss to Nixa. CJ is excited to get in front of their home fans, and they're feeling confident after their success in week 1.
We're definitely pumped. We're ready for this week. We all definitely believe we're going to be 2-0 by the end of the week, and we're all excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd like to carry over that running game that we had last week. We rushed for, I think, 270 yards, and we did throw for 190 yards on only 10 attempts. So we had a nice balance there offensively, and we want to keep that this week and every week for that matter.
The St. Louis Cardinals finish up a 3-game series tonight with the Cincinnati Reds. Two teams have split the first 2 games of the series, with Cincy winning Game 2 last night 5-1. So the Cards try to bounce back tonight and secure the series win. Really great game here, and it's still going. Tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 11th. Nolan Arenado is 2 for 5 with a 2-run home run for St. Louis. In the American League, the Kansas City Royals aim for their 3rd straight win in Game 2 of their series with the White Sox. Royals, though, are down 4-1 right now in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bobby Witt Jr. is 1 for 3 on the night with a solo home run for Kansas City. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
The quiet quitting trend is when workers do the minimum amount of work required, okay? The least amount. Business owners have gone from why I oughta to this. It's giving way to quiet firing. Fox Business Network's Madison Allworth breaks it all down.
Quiet quitting has been a movement on social media. Employees doing less at work, but still bringing home the same pay. But now, some of those employees are facing the consequences. Nearly half of workers have seen quiet firing happening at their offices. That's loosely defined by when an employee does not get raises, loses responsibility, and is generally passed up for any sort of advancement. The hope is they eventually leave on their own. Both quiet quitting and firing happens when the employee is not engaged, which 54% of the youngest workers says is the case. Some will choose to find new jobs or careers. For those that choose quiet quitting, experts warn it not only puts you in danger at your current job, but it could have longer-term effects on your career.
The thing about quiet quitting is that it's intentional and voluntary. It's not like burnout, which is involuntary and you really can't control it. This is a choice. You're creating this cognitive dissonance in your own head. Over time, though, what that means is that there's a chance that you might sort of slack off in other ways that you don't even notice.
Gina and others argue it's dangerous to lean into that unhappiness because it not only doesn't solve your problems, it also doesn't help with your future jobs, which you might like more. In New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Coming up, going to wrap things up with a preview of the new movie Honk for Jesus. The new film Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, starring Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown, puts a spotlight on the mega church culture. Here's Fox's Ashley Workin with this story.
I just want to clarify some things.
Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown team up as evangelical preachers attempting to resurrect their church and make a comeback in the religious satire Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul.
It's a portrait of these two. You know, the backdrop is the church, but it's important. And it's important to see where they settle, where they rise.
They play Pastor Lee Curtis Childs and First Lady Trinity Childs, the owners of a Southern Baptist megachurch who try to recover from a major scandal involving Lee Curtis that forced their congregation to temporarily close.
The dysfunction in their relationship is so interesting to watch because we know the truth about Lee Curtis and so does Trinity. Yeah. But I love that it's guised under that he's tormented in that way.
Twin filmmakers Adama and Adane Ebo say the story is inspired by their upbringing in Atlanta and tries to address the many questions they had about the megachurch culture.
The things that we really loved about it were bumping up against the things that we had like critiques about, and trying to find that balance and understand what exactly are these institutions doing for us. Can they be doing better?
The cast and crew hope the film encourages people to take a critical look at the things they believe in.
Question everything. Don't just be all accepting just because people told you so. Ask a couple questions. And then be willing to understand how you may be complicit in larger harm.
There are good things to extract, and then there is truth to recognize within your own spirit and self. And so you can do both and not feel like you're going to hell.
Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul premieres in theaters and on Peacock Friday. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of Banana the pygmy hippo celebrating her 3rd birthday at the Brookfield Zoo. Don't celebrate too hard there, Banana. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.